Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to dive into one of the most commonly asked questions. How much does it actually cost to live in Japan, specifically in the countryside of Japan? So I'm going to break down my personal monthly expenses living in the countryside of Japan. And if you ever thought about moving here or you just want to compare costs, stick around. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. All right, let's get into it. So to start off, as I said, I live in the countryside of Japan. So I specifically live in Toyoka, which is located in northern Hyogo Prefecture. Um, I live in quite a rural area, and one of the first expenses I will talk about is rent, which is one of the biggest expenses that I have. So for rent, I am paying 27,500 yen per month, right? And the type of apartment I have is it has a tatami room. There is a bit of a there's a kitchen and everything's fully furnished. I have a balcony. I have a TV which was given to me, and the reason why my rent is quite cheap is because of my job. Majority of the company that I got hired for, they're subsidizing most of my rent, right? So I don't know if this is the average rent in the countryside of Japan for 27,500, but that is how much I'm paying, along with the subsidy of with my job covering majority of my rent expense. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about utilities. So first, electricity. It ranges between 5,000 and 10,000 yen per month. And in winter, heating costs can be a little high because Japanese homes generally don't have central heating. So you might end up using the space heaters or the air conditioning unit for heat that's on the wall, or a kotatsu, which is like a table that just like heats up underneath. So a lot of the times we tend to use the air conditioning unit. We put it on blast, for throughout the day. Sometimes I leave it on for half a day, and then when I get the bill, it ends up being really, really high on the high end. So in the summer, the electricity bill can range from up to like 10,000 yen per month. But on average, like I would say, like in the spring, fall, or winter time, I don't usually leave on the heating all the time. So it ranges between about 5,000, 6,000 yen per month on average. Now for water bill, I'm paying about 3,300 yen per month for the water bill. For gas, I am paying about 4,000 yen per month. For internet, so I am with Docomo NTT. I'm paying 5,600 yen per month, and I have the cable set up in my apartment. I got someone to come from the company and set up the wires and everything, the fiber optic, all that stuff like that. I have a modem, I have a router, and all that. So that's why it's a little high. And yeah, those are the expenses for utilities and internet. So the next expense I'm going to talk about is food and groceries. So for the most part, I tend to eat at home, and so I spend about 10,000 yen per month on groceries. So what I tend to do is I tend to shop at like local markets, and I know which stores sell cheap stuff. Like for example, Gyomu Super, near where I live, sells meat for quite cheap. So I usually get my meat from there. If I want to get vegetables and like other snacks and stuff like that, milk, I would go to like Max Value, or I would go to Cosmos and get my stuff from there. But around 10,000 yen. And when I eat out, um, monthly expense would probably be around 5 or 6,000 yen per month. So I would go maybe once every 2 weeks to a sushi restaurant and have sushi, and that would cost about 2,500 yen, around that, and I would go twice a month. So yeah, it generally depends because depending on where you go, like especially in the countryside, like if you eat out, it can also be cheaper than actually like buying groceries. Like you can actually have cheap, healthy options. that are available to you. But on average, like a basic casual meal at a restaurant can be cost around 500, between 500 and 1,000 yen. Um, but if you eat out a lot, which I don't normally do, then your food expenses would go up pretty high. So transportation expense. So I have a car. I leased a car, and leasing for me, leasing my vehicle right now, it costs around 46,000 yen, which is like the biggest expense that I have. And yes, it is quite expensive. But the car that I'm leasing, it's a K car, so it's like a small engine vehicle. So when I purchase gas, I'm spending about maybe for one tank every 2 weeks about 3,500 yen for a full tank of gas. Um, but yeah, I use my car quite a lot. I don't take the trains that often, but when I do, I would go to like Osaka or Tokyo, sorry, Osaka or Kyoto or Kobe. And a round trip would cost me around 6,000 or 7,000 yen. And I would go maybe once a month. Um, so yeah, those are the like kind of like the transportation expenses for me. So I want to talk about other fees. So I have a gym membership, and the gym membership costs about 7,200 yen, which is quite high as well. Um, and other fees, I would say I have health insurance as well. So I have national health insurance. So that covers a significant portion of my medical expenses. But I don't see the doctor quite often, and I'm not really taking any medications or anything like that. Thank God I don't have any serious health issues, so I don't go to the doctor that often. But when I do, say for example, I go to the dentist, if I go visit an eye doctor, it would generally the visit would cost around 3,000 yen, 4,000 yen, something like that. It's not on too much on the high end because I'm covered by the national health insurance. But if you visit like a hospital or something for something major, then it would cost a lot more. Even if you have national health insurance, it can still be quite on the expensive side. So yeah, try not to get sick. So at my workplace, we are given school lunches, right? So the teachers, along with the students, all get school lunches, and there you have to pay for them. So, on average, monthly expense for the school lunches would cost around 2,500 to almost about 3,000 yen per month. Because you get a school lunch every single day at work and you have to pay for them. And also, along with that, there are sometimes events that happen at my workplace, such as, like after a graduation ceremony or some sort of ceremony or event, the teachers usually purchase bento boxes from a restaurant for all the teachers to have, right? And that can range between 3,000 yen. I've paid up to sometimes once I paid about 5,000 yen for one box. And it's a very luxurious bento box. It comes with like sashimi and all a bunch of other vegetables and stuff, high quality stuff. And I would say that, the expenses in that it varies, but the school lunches, you have to pay for that every single month. And the prices have risen every year. Obviously the cost of living in Japan has gone up. All the commodity, all the food and stuff, the prices have gone up. So yeah, it's just expected for that. So another expense that I have is that I visit a massage therapist once a month for to get rid of the knots in my back and stuff like that. And that ranges between, so I go maybe once or twice a month, and that can cost around 10,000 yen altogether. But it's not very consistent that I go, but I do go like once, at least once a month to the massage therapist. So adding it all up, my total monthly expenses in Japan cost around 120,600 yen, or about 760 or 70 USD per month. And of course, like this can vary depending on your lifestyle, right? Like my lifestyle, I try it's a little bit on the luxurious side in that sense. But I feel like living in the countryside is definitely more affordable than living in the city like Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto and stuff like that. So if you're ever thinking about moving to Japan, like I definitely recommend like you create some sort of budget. And if you are planning to come to Japan, um, bring cash. Don't rely on just your credit card because Japan is still a cash-based society. So a lot of the expenses that you have, like sometimes you may have to just pay for it in cash and not be able to get direct deposit option. For me, for example, like for rent, like I have to physically go to City Hall and I actually physically have to pay in cash. Um, so sometimes you don't have an option; you have to do that. But if you live simply, you live a very minimalist life in Japan in general. I think in countryside though, you could live quite comfortably without like breaking the bank. So yeah, that is essentially my monthly costs of living in Japan. So I wonder, what do you think of the video? Did you think it was, do you think it would be cheaper to live here or more expensive than you expected? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you don't, so you don't miss my next video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.